And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Croft, our Croft preview for the British Touring Car Championship. Yeah, the summer break is finally over and we are going tin top racing yet again. So, the countdown to Croft, a legendary circuit. Let's be fair, most of the circuits are nearly all of them. Let's just go all with them to not offend anyone. So, it's going to be the main circuit. Its first race was all the way back, as the poster says, in 1968, before I think anyone was. If you were born before 1968 and you are watching this, you are a legend. I would love to have you on the show. Comment below. Let us know. It's a 2.13 mile circuit with 16. That's 16 corners. Quite a few corners, and it's got a very fast first section. Sadly, I don't have any race sim that I can use Croft in. Sadly, I know. I normally use like Project Cars 2, but no, there's no Zeta Corsa, there's no Croft. There are no Crofts. But let's look at the current championship standings, shall we? So, it's 10 points. I forgot how close it was. It reminds me, 4 wins for Ash Sutton and 233 points. And Tom Ingram on 223 with 2 wins. Dan Camish, a very distant third, as is Rowbottom. And sadly, Jake Hill. Yeah, we'll be talking about them in a minute as well. And we'll be talking about the news and we'll be talking about some of those drivers. So when we look at Croft, it's from the 2nd to the 3rd of August. Now, as I mentioned, sadly, I don't have a race sim. So, as we know, they start from here and they go into Clervaux, which is the map. The map doesn't really, you don't really put, it's really fast. Can you pass? Yes, but in relation to pass, you really have to be absolutely, almost nose to nose alongside them to have a chance. Otherwise, you're gonna bang wheels. Sometimes they used to have the tides there, which is always quite exciting. Then into Hawthorne Bend, which is like the first decent-ish braking point, into the chicane, and then up to Tower Bend. You sometimes could get passing there, but I'll tell you where most of the main passing is. Down through the Jim Clark S's to Barcroft to Sunny in and Sunny out. Awesome named corner, but it's here. It's the last section here where you seem to get side by side into the complex. Then, as Martin Brundle would always describe it, these always remind me a tiny bit of if you've ever played the old Indianapolis F1 game. Those last few Mickey Mouse corners before you get back on the Indy 500 track. That's what it kind of like reminds me of here. The only caveat being, I think it's really good because it bumps the field up, and then you go side by side. You go side by side. I'm not too sure what the weather's going to do, though, if I'm honest. No. So, let's talk quickly, then, about Stephen Jelley. Yes, as we know, One Motorsport is currently on pause for at least the next 2 events. And Stephen Jelley is now cheated on them by going to Unlimited Motorsport for the remainder of the 2025 season. He's like, screw you, Hondas. I'm going with the Cupra Leon for the remainder of the British Touring Car season. He effectively stepped into the seat that sadly Max, which we earlier this month we spoke about Max Hall, and moves into Max Hall's seat after One Motorsport announced it would not be competing at either Croft or Knock Hill. That's citing owners of Steve Dudman's health. Now, Jelley, he's 43 years old. He's had one of the worst starts to a BTC career the season, which is spanned at 10 years. He's not doing particularly well. So will he do particularly well in the Cupras? I don't know. I think the jury's out. He's going to partner Dexter Patterson and Nicholas Hamilton at the Kent-based team for the rest of 2025. And he said himself, obviously, he said, it came as a complete surprise to be joining. Oh, did it though? I mean, did it though, Jelley? Mr. Jelley, did it come as a complete surprise of joining Unlimited Motorsport? But I'm thankful to be given the opportunity at very short notice, said Jelley. In speaking with the team owners, Bob and Matt, it's clear that they are hard workers who want the very best for their team and to move forwards competitively, obviously. And he's talking about how competitive the British Touring Car Championship is, but still, came as a complete surprise. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of money changing hands there or something, isn't there? Let's be honest. I mean, I'm sure one of them reached out to the other after One Motorsport. But what One Motorsport going to... I mean, to be fair, with Jelley's results, it's not being mean to the guy, but whatever happened, he couldn't get on with a Honda, so it's not going to be any great big loss. I mean, when we We go back to the Drivers' Championship. We got Josh Cook and One Motorsport in 8th on 106 points. And you need to go, you know, all the way back to 23rd in the championship. And 7 points, Stephen Jenney. So why aren't you taking Josh Cook? Is he remaining faithful, or is it just because of the money? I mean, I understand. Money makes the world go round in motorsport, but still. Max Buxton joins Toyota Gazoo Racing UK for the rest of 2025, which is nice. He's going to make his British Touring Car Championship debut at the next round at Croft after agreeing a deal to see out the season with Speedworks. He's 19, a young 19 years old. He's the son of the head of motorsport, Danny Buxton, and graduates from the Fiesta Challenge. So, Max Buxton, yeah. He's the youngest. He's already completed a full day of testing, which is good, in one of the other Toyota Corollas at Snetterton. And he said, aside from being Danny's son, Max is one of the most exciting... It's just, I hope this is not a Lance. No, I'm not going to say. Don't say it's a Lance Stroll situation. It's not a Lance Stroll situation. We haven't seen him race yet. Don't be judgy. Aside from being Danny's son, Max is one of the most exciting young drivers to emerge in recent seasons. He's shown maturity, pace and racecraft beyond his years, and we strongly believe he has the potential to thrive. And I must stress that given his comparative lack of experience and limited high mileage, there was zero expectation. He's shown maturity, pace and racecraft. He's potential to thrive, but he might be a bit crap for the next... okay, I mean, I know. When you look at some of the great drivers in the British Touring Car, they were... I'm not saying they were great straight away, but you could tell within 3 or 4 rounds, 3 or 4 race weekends straight away that they were going to be good. But rather than be thrown at the deep end with the pressure to deliver results, Max's mid-season entry has been strategically planned as a learning opportunity, and there's no better way to own your skill set than in the heat of battle in the ultra-competitive BTCC. Yeah, absolutely. No, but it can. Remember, it's not a Lance Stroll situation. No, it's not. Let's get to Croft itself, shall we? Let's get into. So I'd like to talk about some of the drivers, and I want to talk about Tom Ingram. He's currently second in the championship. He's only 10 points away, and I think this is going to be a world championship between Tom Ingram, a British championship between Tom Ingram and Ash Dutton. I can't see now at this point Jake Hill coming in. I mean, let's just remind ourselves about the points. We got 233 for Ash, 223 for Tom Ingram, and Dan Camish 161. He's only got 1 win. 2 seconds and 2 thirds has Dan Camish. And Ash Dutton and Tom Ingram. The stats just blow everyone else out of the water this year, and they've arguably got the 2 best cars. We've had a sort of like a Brands Hatch. We featured Jake Hill in the West Surrey Racing. To be fair, it was a West Surrey Racing, destruction event because they dominated the event, didn't they? With Jake Hill. But the issue with Jake Hill is that I think he's very good. But I can't help but now, and I've always expected it, but I did have my mouth shut when they went to Brands Hatch and won 3 in a row. But I always suspected that they are missing a certain Irish World Championship driver. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. I think they are. I think they are missing him. He who shall not be mentioned, because he would have been there. He can set the car up. He's he is senior, but he was good enough to challenge for a championship, as I think he would have been this year. But they've gone with youth, maybe money. I don't know. And I think that could be one of the reasons why they're struggling, but I can't think of any other reason why they're particularly struggling that much. So I'm not expecting too much from Jake Hill. I think it is really kind of sad. But Ash Dutton, you've got to at this point. It's so close. I'd say he's equal favourite with Tom Ingram, but he seems to be happier with the car this time around compared to last year. So I guess we'll have our fingers crossed. I just wish Jake Hill was a bit more competitive and we had a 3-way fight for the championship going into that last round in Brands Hatch, because that would be absolutely amazing. Sadly, that's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case, is it? No. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that one, frustratingly. But there we go. Any other people of note? Well, Dan Camish. I mean, he's probably favourite for third, albeit he's only 2 points behind, 2 points ahead of Dan Rowbottom, who's having a a stone bonker of a season. He's actually won more races than Dan Camish on at 2, but no seconds and 3/3. But I think Dan Camish is going to be potentially best of the rest. All depends on what Jake Hill can do. I think Jake Hill could make it up to 3rd, but yeah. In relation to any other drivers, well, as we know, Josh Cook is sadly not going to be, we believe, not going to be there, simply because, unlike Stephen Jelley, he seems to be a bit more faithful at the moment to One Motorsport. We do have Stephen Jelley in his, well, there you go. This could be the last time you see him in the One Motorsport outfit. Now he has defected. Sadly, we're not going to see this guy, which is a massive shame because he's got one of the best liveried cars going. I'm really, really disappointed. I think more than meets the eye there. More than meets the eye. And I'm still cheering this guy here to get a point. I want him to get a point. We're going to have, between now and Brands Hatch, we're going to have a weather-affected race. Something's going to happen where Nick Hamilton is potentially going to get a point. Come on, Nick, you can do it. We all know you can do it. I mean, for me, I've always said, given obviously, his. I mean, you can see this guy struggles to walk. Yeah, he has a pedal in the car. It's not all done by hand, for example, like Alex Zanardi's obviously is, because Zanardi doesn't have any legs. And I don't know whether it's painful for him, but it must be a lot more difficult to get that sensitivity. And the fact that he's as close to everyone else as he is absolutely amazing for Nick Hamilton. So long may his season and seasons continue. In relation to anyone else, well, yeah. Dan Lloyd, I believe he's staying at Restart Racing. I know he came out saying he's potentially struggling a bit to get the funding, but he's now got the funding, hopefully for the rest of the year. So fingers crossed, Dan Lloyd. And that's pretty much about it. That's pretty much about it then for our Croft preview. Sadly, we couldn't do the track. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But until we meet again, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much. If you have not subscribed, please consider it. We do cover the British Touring Car Championship here on our previews, our race reviews. We do like top 10 driver ratings, etc., as well as other motorsport, Formula 1 and rally. And we're looking at maybe doing IndyCar or something else, but hey, I'm just one person, so we'll see. But until then, thank you so much for watching. You just watching it is more than enough for us. So thank you very much. But above all else, stay safe.